Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to one of the most interesting roundtables in the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Forum. We are going to discuss today challenges and opportunities concerning women's leadership. Today we have a very good lineup of speakers. We have ladies that have proved professionalism and leadership, and we also have some allies, some male allies, that are going to give us their perspective on this topic. I truly believe that a resilient society is a society where women are empowered. I believe that we cannot do this by ourselves, and we need the help of our male counterparts to achieve this. So, without further ado, I would like to have a tour de table and let every speaker introduce themselves. So, starting from this side with Manuela, if you can please start the tour de table.
I thought I speak loud enough. I have a background in computer science. I have a long history in working in different positions in the public administration, Ministry of Communication as the State Secretary, Cybersecurity Directorate as under State Secretary, and also I was leading for more than 10 years a leadership school, the European School of Leadership in Bucharest. I'm still leading it. Interested in cybersecurity, digital policies, women, and so on. Thank you.
Violeta Iancu, I'm a physicist. I'm doing research in physics since 2002. I started my career in the United States of America, then I moved to Belgium, and since 2014 I'm in Romania at the Extreme Light Infrastructure Unit of IFIN-H6 Institute. I'm interested in applied research mostly, application of gamma beams to industry, and besides research work, I also do mentoring of students and management work. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'm very delighted to be here with you. I want to congratulate you for this opportunity and to have this inspiring event. And let me introduce myself in a few words. My name is Alexandra Raicu. I am a professor PhD at Constanța Maritime University. I have been teaching and researching computer-aided design, product lifecycle management, and 3D printing since 2004. Also, I serve as the head of General Engineering Science Department at my university. I graduated University Polytechnica of Bucharest, the post program of studying. I also earned in 2010 my PhD in mechanical engineering. And during time, I was inspired over the digital transformation and the critical importance of securing it. And I complete my studies with a master degree in cybersecurity. Together with my team from my department, we proudly launch two very important programs for our university, master degree in cybersecurity and risk management and bachelor's level in cybersecurity. And we can say that CMU became the first university in Romania who introduced cybersecurity as a program bachelor as a level of engineering. Also, I coordinated several projects, national and funds, with funds of national and international funds, and I am interested in supporting students, especially students from the first year, reducing the dropout rate, and also I was involving in some training, both for students and for teachers in cybersecurity awareness and prevention and ethical writing, 3D printings, and I collaborate with my colleagues from university to our digital transformation in our university. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Carmen Cârnu. I am scientific director for the National Institute for R&D in Informatics. I started my career in academic domain, then I moved through public administration, and almost 14 years ago I started as a research assistant in the institute and went all the steps to this position now. I'm coordinating all the research and development activities in the institute, also the international relations part. I've been involved in a number of international projects, European, national, funded in the ICT domain, and thank you for organizing this, Gabriela. It's a very interesting and needed topic.
Good morning. I am Camelia Crișan. I am a senior lecturer in the National University for Political Study, the College of Communication and Public Relations. I am leading the course on leadership with several topics on women leadership. Also, I am the CEO of a non-governmental organization called the Progress Foundation, where I lead a program called the Fearless Girls Network, where we empower girls from rural areas in both Romania and the Republic of Moldova to achieve their potential. So far, we have worked with more than 2,000 girls, and we want to continue this because I think that women are very important in the societal resilience. Thank you.
Good morning, Octavian Popa from Deloitte, now representing the private sector. Being part of the governmental sector in the past with a lot of experience in cooperation at the European level, at the European Commission level, together with ENISA, and now being part of the team of cyber strategy and transformation in Deloitte, regional team full of ladies. And yeah, I'm here to try to support, and thank you for the invitation.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. It's really an impressive circle of women and allies. Isabel Lindefrech from the Fraunhofer Institute for Technological Trend Analysis. I lead the business unit for technology and innovation planning for public sector clients. I also do consult the European Commission and the National Ministry for for Research, Technology and Space, sorry, it's new, on the implementation of civil security research, and I'm also a co-chair of the Working Group for Defense and Security Research under the European Association for Research and Technology Organizations. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ioana Melenciuc. I'm the president of the Institute for Public Administration. This is the main public institute in charge of training the public servants in Romania. Formally and currently, I'm also involved in an academia. I always say about me that I'm first of all a professor, and then it comes everything else. I've been working in the university ever since I was a student, and I stayed there up to present, and I love this about me. I've also worked for a while in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, working for the preparation of the Romanian presidency to the European Council. And maybe we will discover more about ourselves afterwards. Thank you.
It works. Hello, everyone. My name is Andreea Copăceanu, and I'm working for the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Center for the International Cooperation Department. I want to welcome you here and to thank you for being here, for being a part of this great event. For me, personally, it's my first time organizing the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Forum, and I hope that you will find it as organized as is good as I find it. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. I'm Gabriela Matei. I'm the training team coordinator for the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Center. I'm an engineer and I specialize in cybersecurity and cyber resilience and also in emerging and disruptive technologies. Today, I'm your moderator.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation. Apologies for my voice. This is not how I usually sound like. I am Ioana Morar, Deputy General Director of the Romanian prison system, and I could describe myself as a complex of expertise areas in one person: prison management and rehabilitation, knowing the system from inside for around 22 years. Also, rehabilitation, psychological assistance, being a psychologist by trade. And last but not least, the academic approach, holding a PhD in psychology and also teaching at University of Bucharest. What is also important from the perspective of today's event is my role as Vice President of Europris, which is the European Organization of Corrections and Prison Associations around Europe. Thank you for the invitation once again.
Hello, my name is Katia Mauhar-Bastar. I'm the CEO of Digital Innovation Hub Slovenia for the last 5 years. Before I was working in the telecom sector for 15 years. I was part of the regulatory authority, and as well I was working at the National Telecom as a Chief of International Affairs and Regulatory Affairs. I have, let's say, 15 years of experience with the leadership of different sizes of teams. My expertise is mostly right now in digitalization, but emerges from the infrastructure. So really close to my interests is cybersecurity and now also artificial intelligence, which I'm still in research. So thank you for having me, and we'll keep on talking.
Yeah, hi everybody. So I'm Hugo Naumorny, and I'm a former CIO. I've been working as a CIO for more than 30 plus years for national and multinational companies. I'm also founder and the president of the CIO Council of Romania, the Association of the IT Directors, and I've got several other hats, and I'm now an advisor for private equity funds and some other companies. So thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure and honor.
Good morning, everyone. Olpia Botazatu. I am the current chair of the Scientific and Technical Subcommittee of the UN Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space. I'm also the co-chair of Action Team on Lunar Activities Consultation, where at the UN, where Romania and Pakistan are actually inviting member states of the UN to start talking about lunar activities, specifically in terms of geopolitical challenges, technical and also legal ones. In my day-to-day life, I am a researcher with the National Institute for Research and Development in Informatics, where I deal with cybersecurity in the outer space. And I'm also a researcher with the Romanian Space Agency, where I mostly do these days a representation on space events and tracking, space security, generally speaking, to the European Space Agency and ISO and some other bodies. Thank you for having me here.
Good morning. My name is Florina Mondana Nag. I currently serve as Chief Information Security Officer for Ion Energy Romania. And in this position, I lead the program for cybersecurity, data privacy, AI governance, and compliance across the retail business. My career spans over 2 decades, mainly in the private sector, in banking, finance, IT, and now energy. And as a common thread among the positions that I had, it was building trust and connectivity in an interconnected world. I have a PhD in cybernetics. My thesis is methods of data science in optimizing business risk. And I'm very honored to be here with you today. Thank you.
Okay, so good morning. My name is Oana Eremia. I'm Chief Information Officer at Magna Pharm. Magna Pharm is part of Dr. Max Group, so basically we are taking care for the medicine to be available for everybody. In this role, my my challenges are currently connecting all the cultural differences because we are present in 14 countries. So I would really like to appreciate the invitation for today, and I would also like to mention that I'm part as a member of CIO Council Group. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's one of those meetings when it's finally a good balance between women and men. So thank you very much, Gabriela and Andrea, for facilitating that. I have to say, being a great advocate of the woman inclusion and woman leadership, I enjoy very much this balance today. I'm Andrea Ionita. I'm currently leading the digital innovation and M&A area of CRH Central and Eastern Europe. CRH is the world's biggest, largest building material company present in US and Europe, overall 28 countries. My responsibility covers the 10 countries we have in Central and Eastern Europe. Before that, I have spent quite significant years in the telecommunication industry and energy. I came very close to digital and technology over the last 10 years. I came to love it, but more than that, I think these days it's very much important, all this balance that we are trying to create as leaders between women, male, inclusion, diversity. Therefore, I'm also taking an active role as a board member in the Global Women Tech Leaders. And besides that, a strong advocate for inclusion, for growing our talents also in those areas without significant opportunities for learning and for growth. Looking forward to a very engaging discussion, and thank you very much for facilitating this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gabriela Stănică. I'm currently Chief Information, Digital and Artificial Intelligence Officer at Carrefour Romania. I graduated mathematics at the University of Bucharest, and I have around 25 experience in technology. Along my career, I worked in New York, in London, and Bucharest, so I have an overseas experience. And I also worked across different industries, FMCG, telecom, tobacco, and retail. I'm passionate, deeply passionate about technology and leadership. And I look forward for the discussion today and hear your point of view and get to know you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Georgi Ashvili. I come from Georgia. I'm the associate professor at one of the universities back in Georgia. Direction is the cybersecurity governance and the strategy, the field which I am in almost 20 years now. So I'm also representing the European Center for Resilience and Democracy. That's a recent initiative of me and my colleagues. We are the Leiden-based analytical team focusing on the Eastern Partnership countries and Western Balkans in terms of the cybersecurity and cyber threats as a part of and a component of a bigger hybrid warfare. So apart from that, I'm engaged on an individual basis in several international development projects and helping to strengthen the national institutions responsible for cybersecurity in many countries, specifically Ukraine, engagements in Moldova as well, and the Western Balkan countries. So I'm really happy, and that's a really, really honor for me to be not only on this panel, but just to be an ally as well for this topic. So I'm really grateful and waiting for the fruitful discussions and very interesting ones. One of the interestings through all this set of the panels, what we see on these 2 days. Thank you.
I bear no nameplate, but I am Lucian Fătu, the elder colleague of Gabriela and Andrea. I'm not here just out of solidarity for my colleagues in the center. I'm not here also just to congratulate the male participants to this oval table, not only because they are brave, but because they have good judgment. I'm here to learn about what you do and most importantly, how you do it, because I consider myself a student of management ever since I started working, and I'm trying to combine the experience, the expertise I received with the confidence I built in my teams. And my most important lesson in management is empowerment, is delegation, subsidiarity, and in all confidence, I tell you that in this respect, I have Gabriela and Andrea here who really have all my confidence, and congratulate them and you for this event. I'm all ears.
Thank you. Without further ado, let's dive into the discussion. And my first question is for Gabriela Stănică. How does diversity at the decision-making level influence national resilience, especially in crisis management or cybersecurity?
Well, when we talk about national resilience in crisis management, cybersecurity, or society as a whole, I believe diversity is not just a moral principle. I think it's fundamental and it's a strategic advantage. In my role leading technology, I've seen resilience is built through diversity, diversity of thought, diversity of experience, diversity of leadership style. We speak about women today. I strongly believe that women bring perspective that broaden foresight. We see different risks, we ask different questions, and often we connect technical with human. That matters enormously in resilience and cybersecurity, where obviously the weakest link is not the technology. I believe it's trust and behavior. I always said that women in technology should not just fit into the status quo. They should transform it, and I stand by it. True diversity is not about numbers, it's about culture, and it's about courage. The courage to lead differently, to listen, and to create environment built on integrity, competence, and compassion. And that's the kind of leadership that sustains trust during a crisis. Because resilience is not only about systems, it's about people. And when leadership includes empathy, when it reflects the society it serves, we build not only stronger organization, but a more cohesive nation. So for me, women leaders for national resilience are not nice to have. They are essential. Diverse decision-making makes systems more smarter, more human, and far more adaptable. And when we empower women, when we empower diversity, we don't just make our institution resilient, we make our society resilient.
Thank you so much. Our next question is for Ms. Ioana Morar. Can inclusion be seen as a strategic capability rather than just a social value?
First of all, thank you for your interest related to this topic. Over time, resilience models have been extended from personal resilience to a wider spectrum of vulnerable groups facing environmental challenges: community, family, and individual. Thus, the dimension of social resilience has been shaped, and it integrates aspects such as social participation, a sense of belonging, and the community capacity to get adapted to change. At the community level, resilience is expressed by the collective capacity to get adjusted to adversity. The same perspective can be extended to the institutional level, where resilience becomes a central element of social rehabilitation and reintegration. And this brings me to the center of our work, meaning the prison system. Within the prison system, the concept of rehabilitation is at the heart of the interventions and requires a deep dimension of resilience, both individual and social. Rehabilitation does not only mean to regain inner balance and rebuild personal identity, but also to re-entry into a community framework able to support and capitalize on the transformation. In this context, rehabilitation and social inclusion turn into a strategic capability essential for the sustainability of the reintegration processes and the strengthening community cohesion. Reducing reoffending is one of our major objectives and one of the major objectives of the criminal justice systems as well, taking into account the contribution to increasing community safety, decreasing victimization, and maximizing social reintegration. Abundant evidence show that reoffending can be reduced by promoting rehabilitation, social reintegration, individuals giving up crime, and by implementing the principles of restorative justice. A significant outcome of the actions aimed at preventing recidivism and facilitating social reintegration in our country consists of the constant downward trend in recidivism from more than 46% in 2008, stabilized below 37% in the last 3 years. However, the problem cannot be addressed exclusively by the justice system. An integrated approach is required, and it needs to target the fundamental causes of criminal behavior. Actually, that is why one of our main concerns has been to develop and to study the causes of reducing reoffending in cooperation with the academic environment and external partners. And such an integrated study on reducing reoffending highlighted as the main predictors of criminal reoffending in Romania 3 factors: family dysfunctions, school dropout, and the age at which they committed their first offense. So these factors tend to be the ones that supported us into elaborating at national level a strategy for preventing reoffending, and this strategy was approved by government decision this year. So for next year's, our main goal is to reduce reoffending, and that is why we will target on implementing primary, secondary, and tertiary measures which are addressed to a wide range of vulnerable groups. Minors at risk of crime, people with mental or substance abuse disorders, people involved in domestic violence, as well as people with custodial or non-custodial measures. So the strategy promotes interinstitutional cooperation and partnership with social actors, NGOs, the academic environment, and volunteers, with a view to facilitating former prisoners' social and professional reintegration. Thus, to come back to your question, in all its form, personal, social, community, or strategic, resilience becomes the cornerstone of sustainable development, providing not only protection against change, but also the necessary drive for transformation, innovation, human and institutional evolution.
Thank you so much for such a comprehensive answer. I think that we all learned a lot. I, for one, had no idea about this particular issue, and I do believe that female leadership is essential in this aspect, as well. Thank you so much. My next question is for Manuela. If you could redesign one aspect of education to better prepare resilient, inclusive leaders, what would it be?
Thank you for the question. I was listening to you and I was thinking, should I go the fuzzy warm path about speaking, okay, we should educate the leaders and so on and so forth. But I'm in a position in that I can't be brutally honest and address the elephant in the room. We all know the joke. Elephant is eaten slice by slice. So if you speak about leaders, something that we all know but rarely say loud is that most of our current leaders didn't get there by competence. Actually, they don't get there by ignorance either. They get there because ignorance was never a barrier for them to get there. So in a society where merit and potential is something that define the leaders, we can design leadership programs that look nice and work. In our society, we have to do something quite brutal that we didn't do yet. We have the leaders that are coming. Okay, we train them. It's a nice program. But we have the leaders that are there now. And these leaders, most of them don't know what they don't know, and they don't accept that they don't know. They are not teachable. And in my experience of training leaders, the women want to learn, the man knows everything, and they know everything even more if they are in a higher position. So it will be very difficult to explain to them how they should take decision about things that they don't understand, and they should do it fast and take the right decisions. So I was trying to imagine how we can train them. Maybe a part of them are trainable. Some of them are obstacle to remove, to be honest. But that's something that we should say in this building. Why not? So if the pipeline is poisoned, something should be done to the pipeline. But I'm not speaking now about the pipeline. I'm speaking about what we have in place. So I can imagine something that can be as resilience war games, or give a name that is catchy. In that, first we do an assessment, bring the leaders, give them problems, see how they perform. It will be very hard, but with a strong political decision, we can do that. Don't imagine that if you bring leaders from outside that have this training, they will perform in administrative in the administrative bureaucracy. They mainly fail because they don't know how the system works. So even for them, it's a learning experience. So I don't know. Do this assessment secret. So don't blame anybody. Let them understand that they don't know the facts. Maybe after 3 months, we should do something in that we address the gaps and see if what they learned, if they learned something, and maybe publicly say some scores, but not say who's who. Just say 80% of the leaders have no idea what resilience is. But they speak about resilience in the TV every day. But we train them. Okay. Some of them will learn, and we have an exercise. And the last step would be the one in that we filter them publicly and do these games and say, this guy has no idea what he's speaking about, and use the pressure to remove them. But in the meantime, we need to train new leaders, mainly women, because I think they perform very well under stress and in crisis, because being a woman every day is a crisis, at home, at work, and so on and so forth. But I think that if we don't start to think about these issues now, we are already 2 steps behind everybody else. And we'll have decisions that will affect everybody, and the new ones that maybe we train and come will have no place to develop, will be under the pressure of the existing one. So training leaders, it's something very difficult, and it's something very difficult in a patriarchal society that has a respect for authority, that is Romania, especially if you speak about leadership in areas where there also involve people that coming maybe from a different background, a military background, that are more prone to respond to discipline. This was my 2 points about training. Otherwise, I think digital citizenship and cyber resilience should be starting from kindergarten and go through universities, catching everybody on the step and develop everybody for the new society, EI and all these things, bring them together. But the problem is with the leaders that we have now, that have to take the decision that we should do this curricula to the new leaders. So one slice at a time. Thank you, Gabriela.
Thank you. I just want to point out the fact that here in this room, all the men present understand that there are things that they don't know and they want to learn about those. So I don't want to generalize.
Thinking about a hypothetical situation that doesn't happen everywhere around.
Thank you, Manuela. My next question is for Ms. Ioana Melenciuc. What was the turning point or role model that made you believe leadership was possible for you?
Thank you for the question. It would seem to be a rather personal question. I'm not sure if you expect to hear a very fuzzy story about the particular moment that made me believe or feel that I could become a leader, but you're not going to get this because there is no such story. For a long time, I believed that, for a long time during my childhood, and this is important, I believed that leadership is for those who are louder, is for those who are more certain of themselves, and more traditionally authoritative. While I was actually listening more than I spoke, I asked questions before making decisions. I made space for others. So while I was very, very young, I believed that those weren't the traits of a real leader, because the leader had to be authoritative. There is no particular turning point when I realized that all that was bullshit. Because leadership, it's actually about being consistent. Leadership is not about turning points. You don't become a leader all of a sudden. You are not born to be a leader, but you become a leader by being consistent. Consistent with your education, with your training, consistent with your values, consistent with what you consider valuable and ethical for you and for the society. This is how you become a leader. And I think it's also very important to make the distinction between a leader and somebody who is temporarily in a management position. Not all leaders are in management position, and usually those who are on a management position, unfortunately, don't have the leadership skills. So please make this distinction between the two. I realized that leadership isn't about volume. It's about the impact that you do. It's about presence. I see that we have here in the room a lot of young women, a lot of students probably, young women and men as well. And I really hope that you were raised believing that you can. Because if you were raised believing that you can, you will. Probably this is the most powerful thing that parents can do. Raising children believing that they can. And I hope that you will raise your children like this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We weren't expecting a fuzzy story. We don't believe in putting pink ribbons on serious issues, but we were expecting, and you did deliver a true, real story. And this is why we are here, because Yes, there are a lot of young people in this room, and I think they need the inspiration and they need the models to see that, yes, it can be done. And this is what we expect. Thank you so much. My next question is for Ms. Violeta Iancu. How can we make STEM, law, or governance more attractive to young girls beyond slogans?
Yes, sorry, this is a very important matter, and I wish we all would do more about this. From my personal experience, I think there are three important things that we should all have in mind. For example, providing role models. Girls need to see women succeed, to overcome barriers and biases. And this brings me to my second item, which is removing barriers. And these are not only barriers created by stereotypes, but also barriers created by risk of aversion or a fear to failure, which sometimes are higher in girls. And we can all do this by popularizing these fields, which we do to a level of acceptance and engaging, that girls can see that they are not that difficult, as difficult as they appear. And at the same time, we can spark their curiosity, which is very important, especially in STEM. And the last thing, but not least, I think that we need to make girls feel they belong. And while putting everything in perspective, some girls are more motivated by the social impact rather than abstract achievement. So if we emphasize the social aspect of different fields, for example, STEM can help people, can help us live a better life. So in this way, we can attract more girls. And practically, we can do all this just by involving more specialists in the education. And I'm not thinking of teaching for specialists to teach in school, but to involve, collaborate with school and be part of events organized in school in which we can popularize these fields and explain in their language at a different level what we are doing, and in a way connect knowledge that they learn with purpose and applications in real life. Thank you.
Thank you. Before moving on to our next speaker, when growing up, boys are being told, don't cry like a girl, or made fun of with the words, you hit like a girl, you cry like a girl, you run like a girl. It's very hard when you're growing up and your brain is still developing, it's very hard to understand that being a girl is not negative, because young boys are taught that doing things like a girl or things related to girls are negative. So it's no wonder that we ended up in a not so great situation. So I will turn my attention to my friend Hugo and ask him, from your experience as a leader in a traditionally male-dominated field, how have you seen inclusion change the way teams perform or innovate?
Yeah, thank you very much. So, well, let's start with some facts. So, when I graduated my computer science university in Bucharest in '95, I had only 2 or 3 or maybe 5 girls in the class, in the group, and there was very few. And that's a fact. Now, it is absolutely clear that the technology in the IT in the 90s, it was a clearly male-dominated industry. I wouldn't say that this is happening right now. I would say that this has been consistently changed, all right? And I'm not looking to this table, and I'm not looking to my 4th colleagues from my CIO council, but this is a reality, okay? Now, let me tell you a funny story. I worked for Alro, for 10 years, and when I joined them in 2004, we started larger projects, digitalization, and we start with the infrastructure. And obviously, we brought the best-in-breed American company, and they send us a team, the pre-sales guys, and a woman, a senior expert in their technologies. And she was a very young woman. It was like 25 or something, 28 maybe. And she was actually also very beautiful. And honestly, for us, imagine Alro, only majority, gentlemen, boys, tough guys, and so on and so forth. And we were looking to that lady that was basically designed the infrastructure for Alro, right? And we were very happy to do the workshop with that lady, so anyway, I've seen since many years that even in this male-dominated industry, females are doing an excellent job. That lady is still active in the industry right now. We also, during my entire career, I had the chance to met wonderful women that, absolutely beat the guys in terms of knowledge and experience in technologies. So the myth that there are, this is a male-dominated industry, I think things has been changed, okay? Now, I also would like to emphasize that I think the best project managers that I worked for in my entire career were women, okay? Now, why? Because, and not only in the project management, but also, as I mentioned to you, senior administrators or in SAP or in other domains in databases and application. They have a chance to bring, let me say, sometimes more clarity. Sometimes they are more, how can I say, calm. I didn't believe that, but in a male-dominated industry, there are a lot of ego. There are a lot of, people are trying to impose their opinions. This is a male, environment. And so I had the chance to work with absolutely brilliant minds from the woman part, and I think that discussion right now about gender equality, it's a little bit odd because the things has been completely changed, all right? But it's good to continue to talk because, we have to avoid any kind of other coming back, history is repeating and so on and so forth. Another point about inclusion I would like to mention, I started in 2004 in Deloitte, and all the in 98, I'm sorry, all the majority of the management were foreign people. Now, starting from South Africa, Scottish guys, Canadian, Australians, all the British accents you can find, all the English accents you can find it over there. Now, we all learned how to run business from those peoples right now, at that time. We had a chance to bring people from Asia, Muslims, and they start to do their, what their religion, they start to pray, 5 times a day, they start to put the carpet and they start to pray. For us, that moment was a little bit odd. Now, of course, they adjust their habits, but the point is that we learned each other. We've been, how can I say, there was definitely a good cultural change, right? So I think it was inclusion is bringing a lot, you have a chance to understand other culture, to exchange information between them, and to understand how the Chinese, for instance, are solving problems, how the Westerners are solving problems, how the Eastern Europeans are solving problems, and you can mitigate. So bottom line, I would say that gender, from a gender perspective, this male-dominated industry is no longer a male-dominated industry, and we have a lot of examples everywhere. And from an inclusion perspective, I think it is absolutely outstanding that we are migrating to, to an equilibrium and to, a cultural exchange. So we have to continue, for instance, to do this kind of workshops and to continue to emphasize on those topics. So final point, I'm very happy to be with my colleagues here. And honestly, again, those 4 ladies are CIOs and CISOs for very large companies in Romania. So this is the best examples that actually technology is no longer a male-dominated industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugo. I have a subsequent question for you, though. Do you think that technology acts as an equalizer between men and women in general?
I don't think, I don't think, again, if I'm saying right now that women are better in this domain, this is not politically correct. And honestly, this is not politically correct. But this is the reality. Sometimes women are better, sometimes men are better. And I would like to, just another example from Alro, Slatina. In the furnaces and turnătorie, there are cranes that are very high on the top floor, and they are manipulating the aluminum, the hot aluminum. And that environment is extremely hot and extremely tough, and guess what? All the people that manipulated the cranes over there, they were women. And you know why? Because only the women were able to support the temperature, the very high temperature. Men were not able to do that. Yeah. So again, technology is no longer a male-dominated industry, and most of the times, it's not politically correct. Women are bringing clarity, equilibrium, and sometimes funny. Thank you.
I will move to Ms. Camelia Crișan and ask her what role can schools, mentors, or parents play in shaping girls' confidence early on?
Thank you very much, Gabriela. There is this saying that everyone definitely knows, that it takes a village to raise a child. What we don't know is what is the follow-up of this saying, which is, if we are not raising our children properly, they will come back and burn the village. For me, it's been a research interest to study what is going on in the head of the preteens and teens, because if we want to raise leaders, that is the most vulnerable age, when they can be leaders or they can be part of the flock, let's say. I have performed several research activities, particularly studying particularly the rural girls in Romania, because if you're looking at vulnerability, I think that the rural girls in Romania are like the most vulnerable part of the female population of this country. And I'm going to share with you now the results of a research study performed on 123 rural girls. It's a convenient sample, so we cannot generalize the results for the whole girls' population of Romania. But there are a few things that I think are relevant for your questions related to self-confidence. So what we know is that from this research is that respect from adults, particularly family, correlates with bravery and courage. And courage correlates with assertivity, teamwork, and self-trust. So the more bravery I have, the more courageous I feel, the better I'm having more assertiveness, I'm better at teamwork, and also I'm increasing my self-confidence. So this is just something important, but it's not the most relevant thing that we have discovered. The most relevant thing that we have discovered in terms of self-trust is that there is a causality, and up to 50% of your self-trust is determined by optimism. So this has great relevance in terms of us being parents or librarians or teachers or whatever role we have in connection with the girls, and also in our roles as shapers of the future of the country. Because there are a lot of people here who have connections with politics. So if we want to raise girls from our villages, put instead of village our society, our towns, our communities, if we want to raise them as being brave and self-confident, we need to raise the level of optimism. We need to show them what the future will look like, a good future. Unfortunately, what we see is that a lot of leadership in our country is rather transactional, not transformational. If I'm asking everyone here at this table what is the plan for Romania in the next 5 years, I think nobody has. We will not find two opinions which will concur that this is the path for the future. So we need to instill optimism in our young generation. Why are all these qualities important? Because the research is showing us that self-trust, hope, optimism, and resilience are the 4 key factors which are building authentic leadership. And we want authentic leaders to lead our communities and societies. We have done this project from 2022 until now. And we have worked in our Fearless Girls Network project mainly with girls. Since 2 years, we started seeing that boys are coming to public libraries and they want to be part in this project. They want to be taught how to be more optimistic, more resilient, and more brave. And if we're looking now what is happening internationally, and I would like just to point out the new research of Jonathan Haidt, we see that there are huge differences in the development of young girls and young boys. And this is my final comment, if we want to see truly inclusive societies, we not only need to look at fearless girls, we need to build caring boys. Because new research is showing us that the manosphere is not something that is marginal or something that it's going on because of the Tate brothers. We are seeing that this is something that is caused by intensifying use of social media. So I'm just throwing a few stones here, and I'm hoping that together with our great panelists, we will be able to find some solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Camelia. We really appreciate insights backed by research, and your research is truly outstanding. And I think this whole debate actually deserves to be more than just a debate, more than just a round table. I think we can make it a whole conference. And probably that won't be enough either. So I will move to Katya and ask her, what practical steps have you seen or implemented that truly help recruit and retain women in high responsibility positions?
Thank you for the question. Okay, I started my career 20 years ago in telecommunications, and 15 years ago I became leader of the telecoms department at the telecom regulator. I was a boss to 20 engineers who were like 10 to 20 years older than me. So you can imagine the struggle I had. It was like I needed to prove myself much more than somebody else would. But like they say, if the trouble is too hard, call a woman. So actually, at the end, it ended really well. We were a great team. And also when I moved to the telecoms, it was the same. And now in the digital world, it's much more equal than it was in telecommunications at the time. So first of all, what I would like to emphasize is something really obvious, that women, we represent the half of the labor market, which is obvious. And let's think about that in the sense of addressing the lack of skilled professionals in many sectors, not only IT, not only medicine, not only teachers, whatever. In Slovenia, this is really common. We have lack everywhere of high-skilled professionals everywhere. And then let's move to the next thing. We have highly skilled professionals and we have leaders, middle management and really high-end leadership. I will refer to the study made by Slovenian Association of Supervisors, I think it was 23, which shows that the rate of achieved level of education is even higher at women than with men. But in the first 5 years of their employment, men overrule, it's like a scissors open, and women stay on the platform, while men, they rise with their position to the high profiled leadership roles. I need to read a bit because I'm referring to somebody else's research. And what are the main factors, negative factors? It's loneliness. One is really, really affecting women, that they're lonely on the high position. The second one is fear of showing vulnerability. The third one is the no support from fellow women or men, both. And of course, what is obvious, struggling with work-life balance. So sometimes women resign or not take the decision because of that. It's not only the HR manager or recruiter thinking, oh, she will go on maternity leave, she will be on a sick leave because of child and everything, but even there is a barrier integrated in the women soul, heart, mind. Yeah. So what would be the practical steps? This was the introduction, so for me to get into the practical steps. These are maybe for both gender, but for each individual, you need to get to know the strengths and weaknesses and search for their particular role and support them to achieve their potential as an employer. But for the women especially, what we need is a strong support network. Like one of these cases is Women in Cyber, for example, or managing associations of women and similar. So somewhere to feel secure, we are not alone, we have a safe space where we feel understood and accepted. We need mentors who will help us without their hidden agenda. Or we need role models, what we already mentioned, so to know that everything is possible even with those barriers. And we need a flexible working time, because who says that we need to go home at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, if we do things by 3 and then maybe finish something in the evening, right? So we don't have to apologize for that. I think that when we will know that we achieved that, when the roundtables, how to support men on leading positions, will be held on the conferences, or those will not be there anymore. And we don't have to be patronized, you know, there's no need for that. And we don't need to be put aside because of the assumption what comes first. Of course, family comes first. What did you think? We will always do our jobs, but family always comes first, and that's the right thing, because at first we are human beings, and that's what counts. So I also threw some stones, as you said, and thank you.
Thank you so much. You reminded me of when I first got a job in IT as a system administrator, and the first reaction of my all-male team was, "Ah, she's a girl. She's gonna make babies and leave." Well, guess what? I didn't. But you reminded me of that. My next question is for Ms. Alexandra Raicu. Are quotas or targets effective tools, or should we focus on changing culture and incentives?
Thank you. It is a very interesting question, and it's very important to debate this, because also I came from the male-dominated field, from Constanța Maritime University, And in my vision, I believe that quotas and targets are at the beginning are important, can open the doors first, the beginning. And we can see these quotas and targets like accelerators. They can fill the gap between men and women at the beginning. And they can give us opportunity, transparency, and visibility. But for a long vision term, in my opinion, to keep women in this field, in this specified technological field, to help them, to grow them, and to support them to lead, we need culture change, and we need incentives, and we need, first of all, education. It's very important, this education. So for this, we need supportive environments, mentorship, career development, flexible work, equitable parental leave, real equal chances. We need also zero tolerance for bullying, intimidation, or for inappropriate behaviors. Over time, to have a resilience future, we need a culture, we need incentives, and first of all, education, and all of this will create a sustainable change. And this question is very inspiring because, as I said, I'm coming from Maritime University, and always this maritime field have seen just dominated by men. But you will be surprised because at Constanța Maritime University, we enrolled women's students, girls from 1990s, and we support them, we create role models. And also I can give you some examples. Today we have almost 40% for educator programs which are dedicated to men. And we have also programs like environment protection or economical engineer, where we have girl students over 80%. And it's also another important example. In our university, we have two faculty, and we have two deans. One is a man and one is a woman. And it's important to note that we have democratic election. Is not an assumption. And also we have 7 departments, and that departments are led by 4 women and just 3 men. Indeed, our rector is a man, but we had a woman as a rector for 8 years. So we obtain this in our university, a culture change, but since 19th and over 30 years, because we support, we understand the qualities of women, and we had at our university to develop our studying programs regarding to International Maritime Organization and also to global maritime requirements. So we can say that we obtained this cultural change in our university, because in every field, especially in technological fields, it's very important to have women, because also with this balanced equilibrium, we can build resilient teams and also resilient organizations. And not forget many qualities of women, like diverse thinking styles, multitasking abilities, patient, empathy and strong communications, collaborative mindset, long-term vision. And we are trying to do the best we can, also with our newest programs in cybersecurity and emerging technology. And we involve more girl students in this. We create a space where the girls can have the chance to try to stay in a team, in a safe space, and to work with real technologies like robots, 3D printings, drones, AI. And so at the beginning, codes and enhansives can open the door, but over the time, just culture, education, and very important support help women to stay, to grow, and to lead. So in the end, the goal is not just to bring women into the room and to support them in these activities, to make sure they have the confidence in themselves and the space where they can speak, decide, and lead. So as a conclusion, a short conclusion, targets just open the door, but culture and education, very important, keeps the door open. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think you have to be congratulated at the Maritime University in Constanța for your work. And I think it's an example of good practices because you started very early on and now you managed to change the culture.
Yes.
So I think you should somehow give this example to other universities to bring forward this change.
And also we change the domain because everyone say, oh, just Maritime University. It's not just Maritime University. We introduce new programs like cybersecurity and emerging technologies, and we have courses under the aegis of European Security and Defense College, conferences, and I invite you all to our university in Constanța. Thank you.
Thank you. My next question is for Ms. Andreea Ioniță. How can public and private sectors collaborate to create resilient, inclusive talent ecosystems?
Well, Gabriela, the advantage of getting the questions among the last is that you can build on everyone's answers before, because I think already has been, a lot has been said during all of your answers. But before that, if you allow me, I will just add one comment related to this topic, because it's not a new topic, let's face it, right? We've been keep talking about the inclusion and the woman leadership and mentoring for young students and so on for quite some time now. And I think we have to admit that a lot has been also done in the Romanian society. There is still a lot to be done, but from my personal experience working abroad for quite some time, I have to say that I've never seen the same resilience and the leadership capabilities and I have seen in Romania concerning women leadership. And that's a fact. There are studies which are saying that Romania is very well positioned in terms of percentage of the women leaders across many segments. And I think that's also a fact. We should be proud about it, that yes, it might be in our genes, it might be in our ex-communist country origin, legacy, you name it, but there is resilience, there is ambition, there is drive, and as I said, that's the reality. We are the country among European Union with the highest rate of women leadership position. Now the challenge is to keep that going forward and to make sure we have a good alignment between what the state is doing and what the private sector is doing. Because in the private sector, it's easy. For those of us that are working in multinational, we are exposed to training programs, to development programs. We learn from other countries, whatever they're doing, so we have access to the right information and development. But if we look back, and this is, I think, something that Camelia mentioned, right, regarding where are we heading as a country, where is the direction, what are our priorities, green economy, health, education. Once those are well defined, then we can map what do we need in terms of competencies as a country, and we can start building them. And this is a long discussions about the gap that we have in the education curriculum and the real needs in economy for such competencies. So to me, that's the main point. Probably we should talk more open in the public space and that the government should take. It's exactly how do we fill in this gap between what the real economy needs are to develop this country forward and how the education system can then deliver those gaps. Because let's face it, how many of us are now doing in our academical, professional work exactly what we have studied? Probably only a few, right? And that's the case today. I don't know, we have a lot of students in the room. I hope at least their generation is going to fulfill jobs based on their academical studies. So this is one point I would like to mention, the alignment between the real needs of the society, of the economies, and the capabilities. And then, of course, there are different ways of partnerships between private and public. There are internships that always the private companies are offering. There are investment in upskilling, in reskilling, but the state has to be more active with funding schemes, with inclusion programs, back to the rural area, right, which is lacking a lot of exposure today, and learning opportunities. And this is not only for women, this is overall society, right? Because we're not going to grow as a society only if we invest in women's skills and we fill in the gaps for women. We will grow as a society by having the right inclusion. So that's my main takeaway. It's more, I think, a gap that we should be all aware and somehow contribute as best as we can from an individual, private, public perspective. It's actually the right alignment between where is the society heading and how is our education system going to be reformed, because that's the base of any healthy society.
Thank you. I just wanted to make an observation that just look at how our government looks like now. We only have 2 women in the government. So I don't expect much from our government in this aspect when they can't have more women. I don't know, just my 2 cents here. But I think we should try, and I think that this is a conversation that is worth having. Thank you. I will move to Mr. Octavian Popa and ask him, many men want to support inclusion but are unsure how to do it meaningfully. What does good allyship look like in your view?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. So first of all, as I said in the beginning, I came here to listen, to understand, and to try to support these kind of initiatives. So that's why I took some notes regarding some keywords that I heard during the conversation today. So I noted here keywords like diversity, like balance, like partnership, like cooperation. I heard patriarchal society, values. I heard fear to failure. I heard doing things like a girl. I heard inclusion. I heard culture of change. I heard equilibrium, vulnerability, respect, and self-trust. Let's use these words, let's use these keywords and try to continue this kind of initiatives. I've seen many initiatives during events here in Romania, here at European level, but we started with that events and initiatives and we stopped. I remember from the past some moments when Romania used this argument regarding balance and diversity between men and women to achieve different goals. And first example is when Romania tried to convince at European level that we need to have a new agency here in Romania, and they said, come to Romania because we have here a good balance between women and men. And that argument worked at that moment. What happened after that? I remember another moment when we tried 2 or 3 years ago organizing together with Manuela the first, let's say, cybersecurity Olympics in Romania, and we used this argument at the governmental level to convince people to have this decision, and we succeeded at that moment. I remember another moment when we were organizing the European Cybersecurity Challenge, the European contest, and we tried at that moment to find girls to include them in the team. I'm not okay with this idea, so we need to have an equilibrium here and to let girls to be part of these teams. In my case, I'm working in consulting, and I work with a lot of auditors and consulting very skilled people, and many of my colleagues are women, and they are very skilled and they have ideas and they are very involved in our activities. So I will try to let's say, to finish these words with, let's say, a conclusion, and it's like a pamphlet that in fact, it's reality because I seen on social media, but for me, it's a pamphlet, and I seen these days because we had a lot of discussions. I seen something there that is like that. When a man asks another man, not promoting a woman because she criticized another man, that is not a man. So it's a pamphlet I heard and I seen on social media, and these are my final words. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Octavian, spoken like a true ally. I will move to Ms. Carmen Cârnu and ask her, what advice would you give to male allies or managers who want to foster inclusion without being performative?
Thank you, Gabriela. This comes after the replies of Octavian, and it's a question that obviously comes as a continuation. And from all the words that I heard, I didn't heard yet the genuine curiosity and active listening. Maybe this is for me, it's a soft question, and sometimes it's challenging to dive into this. So to make not a response, but a continuation of our colleagues' ideas, maybe I would encourage men allies to begin with this curiosity and active listening. So, because inclusion is not only about symbolic gestures or polished statements, but it's about also daily awareness and willingness to learn from the experience of others. So it starts with simple but meaningful actions, such as even asking women what kind of support that they need, then assuming what they need, and give them the support if there is needed, where there is needed, and also ensuring that their perspectives are not only heard, but also after being heard, also translated into decisions and policies, so into actions. Allyship also means using one's position, especially when it's a leadership position or the privilege, to open the doors for others, being men or women. This also can mean recommending, mentoring, an opportunity for internship, or just simply giving credit publicly when this is due. And sometimes this, there is a failure in doing this. Because what I think that authentic allies not only act for visibility or praise, but they act also because they understand that the inclusion also strengthens the entire organization. So at the end, I would say that fostering inclusion is not about, is about partnership, not protection, and not helping. It's a partnership. It's a men and women complete each other also in lives and in work, in different visions, in different ways. We approach discussions, and we approach actions, and we approach solutions. So when we see women as equal partners in leadership, when also men question stereotypes and support women's professional growth, inclusion basically becomes part of the institutional culture, and I think this is the main important topic to understand that is an institutional culture that we need to encourage and develop. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Very interesting what you said, give credit when credit is due. I think this is very important. And I will move to the next question to Ms. Ulpia Botezatu. How do we move from isolated success stories to systemic change?
That's a great question. By really making success stories the norm, We all like success stories. We celebrate the project that work well against all odds, or the negotiations that were exceptional, profitable at one particular point. But really, the question is, how do we make this success replicable? And I believe that we move from isolated success stories to systemic change when we stop relying on exceptional people and start building with these exceptional people a system, a network, exceptional systems, basically, systems that encourage collaboration, reward learning, allow innovation to large scale. And I think all-in-one is about creating really the right mechanism, governance, incentives, accountability, so that progress doesn't depend on chance or really a small group of people, but on the design of the network itself. I think that systemic change is when good ideas don't stay local, they become the new normal. And just to share with you a little story that I was part of a few weeks ago. I was invited to a NATO leadership dinner with the occasion of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 3022 on women's space and security. And the last question of that dinner was, how do you see women in about 25 years from now on? And the overall conclusion was really that we don't have to make this distinction any longer. Like really bringing this distinction between women and men makes this division even more deep. So from my perspective, I don't think any of us lead as women. We lead as persons that believe in merit, fairness, respect. And I'm sure this was echoing many of the discussions here today at the table. And well, I think including our allies. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I hope that 25 years from now, we won't have to make this distinction and we will only talk about professionals, not male or female professionals. Thank you. I will move to Isabel and ask you, if you could design a joint Euro-Atlantic program tomorrow, what would be its first priority?
Thank you again for the question, and thank you all for your contributions. I really love being around here. And I really want to pick up this systemic approach, because instead of proposing another isolated program or something, I want to approach it in a more systemic way, because I truly believe that missing female leadership is a true gap when it comes to the ambition to reach a resilient society. I mean, I'm not saying women are better than men, for sure not, but we are different. I can tell as a biologist, I mean, and everybody, I don't know, every woman around, if you have ever asked your partner to get something out of the fridge, you know what I mean? Or I don't know how many men you know asking for the way when they got lost. And for instance, also talking about the military, from the military clearly has the ambition to be superior to other states, right? To be better than the enemy. And if we consider that women think differently, we don't have the physical strength, so we find also other ways to fight our enemies. We are also but more diplomatic and to avoid fights, actually. Maybe also because lacking physical strength, but just having said that, so I really want to have that more embedded in a broader way, because then, so that we don't depend so much on allies and so on, but to create movement. So the first priority would really be to build a shared capability mapping for democratic and resilient societies. We do know that NATO and so on has a capability planning, a strategic one. We don't have any in civil security in Europe. The US has, under DHS, has a capability taxonomy. We need to align to that and find out what are really the critical functions of our society that we want to preserve, and to be able to take decisions and to set priorities for programs. So not only for female leaderships, but programs like that could fit into that as well. Then map strengths and gaps across countries, communities, create a long-term cross-border planning cycle that is repeatedly and continuously updated. And then make the map actionable. Then assign research programs, of course, but also training, use leadership programs, technology deployment, and so on. So to really move from fragmented initiatives to a coordinated long-term resilience planning.
Thank you for such a comprehensive answer. You mentioned the military, and I would like to make the note that I did invite people from the military, but as you can see, they had other priorities.
Point taken.
But this reminds me of what the Secretary of War in the US said, that he wants to keep all the soldiers to the highest male standard. And I think that when it comes to soldiers on the field that have to do the actual combat and fight man to man, I think it's a valid point, because as a woman you're smaller, you're not as strong, and you might be a liability. But that doesn't mean that the military shouldn't be for women as well. There are plenty of other roles in the military that women can fulfill. Like you can be a drone pilot, you can be a fighter jet pilot, you can do a lot of things. I think the military should be more open and inclusive for women. But that's just my perspective.
May I comment on that?
Yes, please.
Thank you. By the way, I really want to pay mention to Mr. President for being here. A lot of things going on today for the European Atlantic Resiliency Center. A lot of brilliantly dressed gentlemen next door who I'm sure are wondering where the president of the EARC is, and he's here, right, in the most important panel of the day. So thank you. And my name is David Karstens. I think I'm the token American here, but I am a 30-year veteran in the U.S. Army. Had the honor and privilege to serve alongside women and men in combat of many nations. Your comment is powerful. It's also disturbing. I mean, the fact that we don't have members of the Ministry of Defense here truly aggravates me to no end. And you're right, there's probably a lot of important things going on, but at a time when we are talking about resilience, when we are talking about security threats, it's very easy to talk about things, right? Counter drones will make us safer, or aircraft will make us safer, or tanks will make us safer, which is really nonsense. And because at the end of the day, it's people that have to drive those systems. And if you are not taking advantage of men and women to the highest degree possible, you are really failing in the mission to secure your nation. And I would say the same thing if Secretary of Defense Hegseth was here, because he and I probably disagree a little bit on this. Now, I'm speaking from a little different position right now, because I have a 17-year-old daughter that is trying to go into the U.S. military. And this is one of two stories, short ones, that I will tell you. I would like to say that her inspiration was her grandfather, who fought in World War II, or maybe her father, who served in the Army for 30 years. And, you know, that she's a fata lui tata. Okay, I got it. She's, you know, she has that going on. But her real inspiration for going into the military is a Romanian woman, a young naval cadet who went to Annapolis, our U.S. Naval Academy, whom she met a few years ago. And during a tour at the Naval Academy, this young woman, a Romanian, so inspired her that now I have a daughter that wants to join the Navy, become a Navy officer. I certainly didn't encourage her to go into the Navy. I'm an Army guy. But a Romanian woman encouraged my daughter to move this direction. As to your comments about what women can and cannot do, I would say that women can do anything men can do in the military. There has to be a standard, of course. I mean, if women are going to go into the infantry, if women are going to go into special operations, I absolutely agree that there needs to be a physical standard, and that standard needs to be somewhat close, because at the end of the day, you're not just caring about yourself, right? You may have to take a wounded colleague off the field of battle, and that wounded colleague may weigh a certain amount with equipment, and so it comes down to survival. and taking care of your fellow soldier. So women can do anything. And this brings me to the second of the short stories I will tell. In 2001, I deployed to Afghanistan. I was in charge of the first interrogation operations that went on in Afghanistan, and we executed that mission successfully for the first year of Operation Enduring Freedom. And at the time, we were doing hardcore interrogations of Al-Qaeda and other suspected terrorists. I would tell you everything you see in the movies is false about interrogations and how they are conducted. Interrogations are really about getting in people's head. It's about having a conversation with someone, and it's about getting information from them because they, perhaps love their country, they love their fellow soldier. It's not about waterboarding and other things. That's a different conversation, but it really comes down to talking and influencing. The most powerful interrogator I had of the 40 plus was a 19-year-old girl. And I watched that girl go into interrogation facilities on multiple occasions and sit across the table from hardcore terrorists and just get them to cry their eyes out. She had a way of getting in people's heads and influencing them to say everything without lifting a finger. And that is truly the power of what women can bring to the battlefield in just one small instance. Now, the last thing I would say is for the young men in the room, because I spend a fair amount of time talking to my 17-year-old, telling her she's going to have to work harder and fight harder in a world that is dominated by men, especially if she wants to come back to Romania. Because unfortunately, while there's been improvements in the United States, not to the degree I'd like to see them, there hasn't been nearly as many improvements here in Romania. I understand your comment, ma'am, about Romania maybe moving up the chain in Europe, but I would submit that the bar is pretty low. So the bar needs to be higher. But in terms of what I tell my daughter and what I would tell the young men in this room is if you do not fight to work for a woman somewhere in your career or have women work for you, you're failing. Look, I'm an old white guy. My background is defense. 30 years in the Army, I worked 5 years at the US Embassy here. Most of my clients now, as I run a company, are defense companies. And over half of my clients or over half of my employees are women. And there's a reason for that. They work harder, they have more attention to detail, and they help me think in a different perspective. So my COO is in this room. Iselle, raise your hand. So Iselle's half my age. She knows absolutely nothing about defense, although she's learning. But every day she says something to me that causes me to move in a new and better direction. Because the last thing you want to do, gentlemen, as you prepare for your careers, is surround yourself with people that just tell you what you want to hear. You want to surround yourself with people that tell you what you need to hear. So I'm sorry, that was a long-winded comment, and my apologies for doing it, but I felt I had to speak up. And the last thing that I would say is for Doamna Secretary de Stat, I would love to take you to the U.S. Army War College someday and talk about leadership. You said one of the most inspiring things I've heard in a while. I was listening to our NATO Secretary General this week, to the Prime Minister, to giants in industry. You said the most inspiring thing of the week, and that is leaders are not born. You're right. Leaders are anyone, male or female, who rise to the challenge. And so that's the only word of advice I'd leave for you ladies is rise to the challenge.
Thank you so much for your inspiring comment. I will now move to our next speaker, Ms. Florina Nag, and tell us what one message would you like decision makers to take from this discussion?
Thank you for the question. So, as we've heard today, inclusion is a winning strategy and is an imperative for resilience. Once we extend the places at the table when we are making a decision. We also extend our ability to adapt, prevent, and recover from a crisis. So progress never came from a uniform perspective. It always comes from a diversity of thinking, and is probably as important as technical defense. So I think it's a win-win when we stem from the qualities of the women in leadership, like collaborative leadership, ethical judgment, empathy, creativity, upskilled knowledge. And this also gives the possibility to organizations to become stronger, more resilient. On the other hand, to stem from my own experience, the only chances that I got in my career were from men. So we shouldn't demonize men leadership. I'm very proud of my father. I'm sure many of you are proud of the careers of your father. I have a son. I would like him to be a good leader. So I don't think only women leadership is heal all panacea universally. I mean, we have complementary abilities, and we should encourage also our sons to come up to a certain level. So only by affirmative action we cannot lead. I think it has to be meritocracy. It has to come from a place of abilities, because otherwise we decredibilize the women leadership. Yeah. So I told you, I mean, I was only advanced, or my potential was only noticed by men leaders. And sometimes I thought, why? And maybe because we have this soft spot that we are leading from scarcity, because we know how little are the places for women leaders, even though we are 50-50 in the STEM or in the polytechnics, it's only 6% of the women that actually take leadership positions in organizations. So there is a ceiling, there is a segregation in occupation, so 75% of women mainly stay in low knowledge-intensive jobs. There is maternity penalty, so there are many things that can be improved. So this means that the road is still clear, so we have a lot of progress to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, men and women bring different things to the table, and I think that just by being together, we can truly achieve resilience. We can't do it just women or just men. It doesn't work. So together in a partnership. Thank you so much. I will move to the next speaker, Ms. Oana Eremia, and ask her, how can we keep this collaboration alive beyond today?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I would like to start with an example from my life. So 2 years ago, I joined by mistake the CIO conference at Venere. It was really a mistake. But in reality, 2 years after I went there, I gained 4 new lady friends, and we help each other. We even had the idea 1 year ago to do the coaching, mentoring program for young talents, for young ladies that would like to be leaders some days. So we even had this idea, and I met Hugo, great mentor for all of us. So the idea is that even if you go to a conference, you go anywhere, you can meet with the empathy, with openness, relationship that you can have tomorrow. And another point that I would like to bring on the table is the technology. We know that technology today is supposed to bring us closer, but in reality, somehow, according to the statistic and everything, make us feel more lonelier. So what I would like to, leave you with the idea to bring together the technology tools that we have, for example, WhatsApp, yeah? You can share pictures, you can share ideas, and also the human relationship, because at the end of the day, I think here I heard that family, friends, and networking matters. Thank you.
For your nice words. And for our last speaker, but not least, of course, I will ask my friend Georgie, in your experience, what's the biggest misconception about gender equity efforts among male colleagues, and how can we address it constructively?
Thank you very much. So the main thing, to be honest, one of the main misconception what I face through my male colleagues is the thing that the the gender equity efforts are something like brought for lowering standards. That's to be honest, to say that, and to prioritize the kind of equity over competence. So that's the biggest thing what I found in many countries I worked and have been worked in Eastern European countries mostly, like back in Georgia, Ukraine, Moldova as well, and the Western Balkan countries. So, and I think the main reason for that is the misunderstanding of the equity term itself. So the equity is not about giving advantage to someone, as those people and those male leaders mostly think, but it's about the removing the disadvantages which prevent the equally capable people from to contribute fully. So that's the thing. What is the main point? Also, actually, I've listened to that's a good point for being last speaker here in terms of the listening and getting lots of insights from such a beautiful audience. So the idea about the thing, the diversity. So we have the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Forum here, and we are constantly talking about the cybersecurity, the field actually which I am representing, and the more broader, the hybrid warfare and hybrid threats. And we think constantly about how diverse the threats are, and we don't think about what kind of diversity and diversity of perspectives we need to address this. So I think the colleagues mentioned here regarding having the team of the diverse mindset, like perspectives and so on. And specifically when it comes to the cybersecurity, it's the crucial point. I mean, having the diverse perspectives and thinking from different angles, that's what brings the value. And that's not something like a fancy thing, I would say. That's something mandatory if you want to tackle and address the cyber threats within this nowadays. Also, another misconception what I've noticed is mostly the idea about the gender initiatives are brought from and by the HRs or the CSO organizations, and most of the male people doesn't see their roles within these gender initiatives. So when someone hears the gender initiated project or something regarding this gender equity, so the idea comes up, okay, our human resources management team brought this, and it's not the thing that we have to be engaged in that because it's their job to do. So that's another one. And also the thing that the main point, what triggers this kind of thinking is the lack of the understanding about what the inclusion means. So the inclusion is not the policy brought by someone, but inclusion is the culture. So doesn't have this culture, and the full sense of this culture brings this, that the male leaders, they set the policy, they set the tone for this kind of thinking, and that it results in the thing that what we have, that's misconcepting that it's about the prioritizing the gender over the quality or the competence of the professional, rather than thinking that bringing diverse kind of the personnel in your team and getting the diverse perspectives, because of the threats around are so diverse that you can't beat them. And also the last thing, what I've seen in practice, by the way, the around 3 or 4 years, the computer emergency response team, the main one, the government CERT team of Ukraine, was led by the female. So the idea about the thing that managing the team full of the males and you are the only one in a team, but you're the leader and you're responsible for the cyber security of the most critical infrastructure entities in the country. And also, I think the colleagues also raised this, that what male and female can do and they don't, or why bringing in the military, for example, more women is good, or so within the cybersecurity part, what I've seen that why women are even better than men in most stressful positions. What I've seen specifically this leading the CERT teams, incident management, 24/7, and so on, because of the thing that they communicate better. The one thing, also the maintaining the calm during the crisis. Whenever I've seen the colleagues who are just saying what to do, let's get some drinks and just to wait for some times when the same situation, the women does that. So let's solve this problem and then get some, I don't know, like drinks, or just be happy for that. We treat it, we address this attack. And also the idea that anticipation of the risks earlier and more comprehensive way, rather than thinking from one angle or something. So that brings the thing that just a very short thing, that the gender balance is not something about the fairness, but it's a strategic advantage, specifically to bringing the resilience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Georgie. I would like now to give the opportunity to our public here to ask questions to our wonderful speakers. Please take advantage of their presence here and ask them questions.
And Gabriela, if you allow me, I don't know if we still have students in the room, but if any of you can volunteer, I think for us it's going to be very grateful to hear also your opinion about everything that has been discussed today, because you are representing our next generation, where the hope and our aspirations are actually in the hands of. So if any of you has the courage to volunteer, I think that is going to be very much appreciated. I know. I'm looking at you. Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I want to say it's an honor to be here, to hear all of you speak. I mean, you brought us some examples unheard and unseen before. And how to say, it brought inspiration to me. I mean, seeing a woman in the field of work doing the same work as a man is an inspiration. And I want many women around the world to follow such examples and do what they're passionate about. To be determined and to never give up, because giving up is quite bad, and it's better to continue your work, do what you are passionate about, and prove that you are good at what you're doing, or even better than others. Because that is what makes us people, that what makes us good, determination. And a woman has all these abilities. All it needs is determination. And what you said here in this room was amazing. I mean, hearing all your opinions, your debates, and the power of women is inspirational. So thank you very much for listening to what I had just said.
And thank you for your courage to say and to share with us your findings. Thank you very much for that. And I think we have another volunteer, right? Great.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Bianca Marario. I am part of the Future Leaders program at the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Center here. And I am a student, indeed. I study international relations at Babeș University in Cluj-Napoca. And I would like to start by saying that it has been such an immense honor for me to attend this conversation because I am beyond inspired, especially by the women in here and their stories, but also by the allies. It just inspired me, and I am speechless, let's say, because I started my leadership journey in high school when I was president in the student council, and until now it has been a short time, let's say, compared to you. It has been very short, but I am looking to the future so full of hope, so full of inspiration and curiosity at the same time, and passion. And I took many notes, and I will continue to take notes while I attend this room and try to make as much change as I can. Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Anyone?
Hello. Hello, my name is Victoria and I'm from Ukraine. I study here International Relations and European Studies in University of Bucharest. So it's my first year, and for today I don't have any projects about this, but I'm highly motivated and interested into this topic, and highly agree with you that women can be a leader and everything is possible. Yes, so it's really awesome that you make these conversations which bring inspiration and motivation, and thank you for this opportunity to be here. It's really valuable for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Hi everyone, my name is Paula and I'm from the Republic of Moldova. I also study here at University of Bucharest, International Relations and European Studies. So I want to start by saying that I'm really grateful for all the successful people here that shared with us their stories and how exactly they came to be what they are now. I feel that it's really inspiring. So I want to say that kind of like a little question. So we speak here today about equality and shared responsibility in resilience building. Yet in this room, I don't see many men. I see like a few men here. And I want to ask, like, why do you think this gap still persists? And to the men who are present here, I want to specifically ask what motivated you to be here today? And how do you think you can inspire other men to come here as well, or at least to contribute somehow in women coming to power or having bigger roles in society? Thank you.
Please let me answer to that question. I'm here on behalf of my dear friend Julia Costin, who's president of Women in Cybersecurity Colorado branch in the United States. And we want to start next year the Romanian branch for this NGO. So you are all invited to discuss with me. I'll be in the board of this organization until a woman will replace me. Thank you.
I'd like to give a short response to that too. So, because your question is what can men do? I think it's not something you do at a conference or at a round table. I think it's in your daily actions, right? And not every day, but at least a couple times a week, I am mortified by the misogyny that I experience here in Romania. I got to say it. I've been living and working here for 8 years. I love Romania. I will retire here. And if anybody's worried about Russia or NATO, I mean, I'm an American. I'm living here. Don't worry. NATO is going to be fine. Not your question. What can men do? Men can take a stand. I have young ladies that work for me, and in introductions or in the course of doing business, senior officials, sometimes government officials, will make comments like, oh, you know, she's very attractive or she's that. And it is the responsibility of men to turn the narrative, right? To go from that to, well, let's start with, you know, she is intelligent or she is experienced or she is an expert in her fields, right? Because I've never heard somebody come up and say, oh, Mr. Carstens, you're so attractive. Not that they would necessarily, but you know, that's not something you do for men, right? But for women, it seems to be, you know, commonplace. So the biggest thing men can do, and you know, the old men, I'm really sorry to say that a lot of the old men just need to leave politics. They just need to get out. The culture needs to change, and the culture needs to change with younger men that just they get it, right? That women aren't a beautiful add-on to, you know, society. No, they are society, right? They are part of an equal part of society. And so, yeah, taking a stand is what men can do.
Thank you so much. I propose we finish the discussions here. Of course, like I said before, we can turn this type of event into a whole day conference because the topic deserves such a broad approach. I would like to, oh, you have one more question? Comment? Okay. Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't see you.
It's okay, it's all right. I hope that, yeah, the volume is fine. Hi, my name is Fiona Dragu. I'm 23 years old and I'm a student, amongst other things. I first wanted to congratulate all of the women in this room on everything that you've achieved and everything that you're doing, because by being here today, you prove that women can and do lead. And also congratulations to the men in this room, because the truth is that the issues that we've discussed today concern our entire society, and we need a whole of society approach. And yes, we've made progress, but according to the European Institute on Gender Equality, it will take us over 60 years by the time that we achieve gender equality in the EU. And Romania currently ranks last amongst EU member states. So while we are seeing more women in leadership roles, we are still far from where we should be. And that's why we have gender quotas and all of these other interventions to help ensure that women and men are truly on equal footing. Now, we've talked a lot about resilience, and resilience depends not only on gender equality, but also on inclusion across lines, meaning age, ethnicity, class, and ability. So my question to you, and to anybody that would like to answer, and I'm looking forward to discussions in this room as well, is how can national frameworks for resilience integrate an intersectional lens, addressing socioeconomic status, ethnicity, age, and other factors that affect women and men to ensure that women's empowerment contributes to resilience across all segments of society? Thank you.
Thank you. That is a very tough question to end the debate. If anyone would like to answer, maybe Camelia?
Oh, yes. I think that if we're looking at the core definition of resilience, which means the capacity to be subject of a challenge, maybe be taken down and then dust yourself off, get up on your feet and go to fight again. This is not something that is going to be achieved easily. Changing a society towards new values, towards new thinking, is not a matter of one generation. It's a matter of several generations. That's why in thinking more towards what our society should look like, how much more inclusiveness we need to bring on the table, I will repeat something that looked like a mantra in the speeches of everyone here, and that is education. I think we need to start small. I need to lead by example. I do not think that achieving inclusion is only the task of women. As so many speakers here on the table said, we need to have men on board. And so I will finish this, maybe bringing it a little bit, bringing the subject a little bit closer to home. Because what we are going to invest next is not anymore in just fearless girls, but in also caring boys. So that is my deep belief that we need to be in this together, and that we don't need to expect everything from the current generation. We need to work with all ages, genders, and so on. But I think that we will see progress if we start educating our young generation towards the project, towards the progress that we want to see being achieved in our daily life.
Thank you so much. I would propose to have a round of applause for our speakers. Thank you. For those returning home, I wish you safe travels. For the rest, have a lovely day. And of course, we still have some more panels in the forum. And I hope to see you again next year with a new debate, and hopefully we will be able to say that we achieved a lot of goals in this area, and we have something to brag about. Thank you. Have a lovely day.